Hey, this is Ask the Boot Guy, where you guys get to ask me questions about boots, work gear, personal questions, whatever you choose. So today's question comes from my YouTube comments box below. You can read the question down here. I'm not going to try to pronounce this guy's name, and I'm just going to paraphrase this question so I can get more out of this video. So about 10 years ago, a buddy of mine who is completely obsessed with Steve McQueen, still is to this day, rides around on a Triumph motorcycle, does all kinds of outdoor racing with Husqvarna motorcycles and vintage stuff like that. He brought me a pair of Redwing 877s that he found in an antique shop because there are famous photographs out there of Steve McQueen wearing 877. So he wanted to emulate the Steve McQueen lifestyle or persona or whatever you want to say. So the way I took care of these old boots, and this is how it pertains to you and your 50-year-old National Guard boots from your dad, is that I examined the boots as best I could, making sure that there was no cracks, that there was no real issues with the boots at the time, and I slowly rubbed in a liquid boot oil. Now, I completely doused the boots with this liquid boot oil. They were soaking wet from the oil, inside and out. Remember, I'm trying to soften up the leather. I then took the boots and I put them on my Pete's dryer. Now, Pete's boot dryer 10 years ago did not have temperature control. It did not have fan speed. It had none of that stuff. It was just a little computer fan on a heating coil pushing warm air up through. And it did exactly what I needed to do. I needed them to warm up the boots, to open the pores of the leather and start sucking in that leather. After 24 hours on the boot dryer, they were ready for me to start rubbing in a lanolin-based compound. Now, by rubbing the leather after it's been warmed up, after it's room temperature, after the oils have been pushed back into the leather, you can actually start applying pressure to leather. If you should start rubbing leather when it is old, vintage, and dried, you're just going to crack and deteriorate it. You have to restore the leather somehow. You have to put the oils back in. And that's most important, and that's key when it comes to taking care of vintage footwear. Now, when I say vintage footwear, I mean neglected 30-year-old thrift store, antique shop footwear. You have to oil them and let the heat penetrate them. So this is Ask the Boot Guy, where you guys get to ask me questions about boots, footwear, work gear, personal questions, whatever you choose. Hey, if you're enjoying this series, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page and really consider supporting me on Patreon. Also, don't forget you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And remember, if you got any questions, put them down below in the comments box, shoot me over an email, whatever it takes. All right, see you next time.